Well, tonight, ABC6 is on your side to show you how quickly a burglar can turn your life upside down.
In just a moment, we're going to follow a former professional burglar as he breaks into a home and makes off with valuables. Fighting Back reporter Steve Levine is live as the bad guy prepares to go to work. Steve.
Yolanda, in just a few minutes, we're going to show you the importance of fighting back to keep thieves from getting into your home. We hired Bob Portenier. He's a former burglar. He served time for armed robbery. In just a few minutes, he's going to bust through those doors and expose the secrets of a burglar to find out what they do to get your stuff. Bob, you brought us here to the back of the house. Tell us, why do you want to break in here?
Well, the house is quite a ways back there, so I don't have to worry about that house being seen or heard. The house is next door. I'm not worried about those. This is the best place to go through to stay, unobserved and do your thing.
All right, you got your tools. You're ready to go. We got the clock ready. I'll count you down. 3, 2, 1. Time to break in.
All right. A lot of times you folks don't bother locking your storm door. This is a single pane door, and it's an antique door. It makes it easy to get into. I'm going to open up the back door and let my partner back in. He's going to load up some things in the garage. And what I'm looking for here is in the kitchen. A lot of folks will put their pharmaceuticals here or in the bathroom and master bedroom. Nothing yet. A lot of dishes, glasses, cups. Nothing here. Oh, here we go. 3 bottles of pharmaceuticals. Dining room. Nothing of interest there. Here's the living room. Nothing here. What I really want to find is a home office, because there's a lot of stuff in there that's worth money. Oh, there's a lockbox. I'll set it out here. My partner, when he gets done, yeah, upstairs. Hey, check that closet just at the top of the stairs and grab that lockbox.
Got it.
Okay. So we got the laptop. Let's see what we got in the drawers. What do we got here? Oh, nice room. Okay, I'll be down a bit. There's credit cards, blank checks. Cash. In God we trust. I like that. Let's see what we got over here. What's this? Passports. Very cool. Okay. Let's go over. See what we got in master bedroom. In here, you usually find a gun. Now, if the homeowner comes home and gets heroic, this could get messy. There's some nice buckles. Jewelry box. We'll take this and go through it at my leisure. And that's about it. So, let's get out of here before the cops come. And before I fall down the stairs. This is hard work, folks. So I think I'll grab a couple of beers. Add insult to injury. And that's just how fast it is. And you'll notice one thing, folks. Everyone keeps their stuff in the same place. That's why it makes it so easy for burglars to steal your stuff. Okay, let's go, pal.
In 3 minutes and 42 seconds, these thieves got in the house, stole the stuff, and we're out the door. Coming up, we'll take a look at the loot, and we'll find out the biggest loss this family suffered.
ABC6 anchor Bob Kendrick is live at a former drug house in Old Town East. And Bob, tell us a little bit about the house and how we're helping the community with this.
The house is a great story. As you said, a former drug house. It's a really good example of neighbors fighting back on this little block here between Ohio and Champion on McAllister in Old Town East. The neighbors got together and they kicked the druggies out. The house was abandoned for a while and it's since been rehabilitated. And no less than our own Steve Levine is going to be living in it for a month, aren't you, Steve?
Thank you, Bob. Thank you for rolling out the welcome wagon. I appreciate it.
I'd love to help you with this, Steve, but that's just not.
But you got work to do.
A little tied up right now. Thanks. Yeah. So Steve's going to be living in the house for a month and really getting to know the neighbors and the neighborhood, finding out what's working in terms of rehabilitating, the problems that Old Town East has, and what can be applied, what lessons can be applied in this neighborhood to other problem areas of the city.
Now, Steve, for folks who might not be familiar with what you're doing in the house, how long are you going to be there, and what's your plan?
We're going to be here for 30 days. We're going to become part of the community. As you see, we've got our nice living room all set up here thanks to Court Furniture. We are going to be here talking with neighbors, finding out what they're doing to fight back. Let me show you around a little bit. As I said, this is the living room that we're leaving now. And here pretty much is Fighting Back Central for the next 30 days. We're going to be here putting together our stories. I'll show you a little bit of the video from yesterday. This is when we came in, and you can see that we've got video here, putting in the cameras that we've got all over the house. So anybody that wants to check in as to what's going on, all they have to do is go to ABC6 on your side, go onto the Fighting Back page, and they'll be able to see us, because look right up there. We've got little cameras all over the place. And then all they got to do is click on, like I said, and see us going all active 24 hours a day.
ABC6 is moving in and fighting back. New city safety cameras will soon be zooming in on crime inside Old Town East. There are 4 locations in the eyes in the sky. They are just a short walk from where we've moved in for the month of May. ABC6 reporter Steve Levine is here to tell us when those cameras will begin rolling. Steve?
Yolanda, we're right here at the corner of South Champion and East Main Street. One of those city safety cameras will be going right here. It is one of 4 cameras that will be installed in East Columbus.
It's been more than 2 weeks now since ABC6 moved into Old Town East to see how neighbors are fighting back against crime. Reporter Steve Levine is now live from one of the street corners there that neighbors say was really a magnet for crime and violence until a big change, Steve.
Bob, I'm in a parking lot very familiar with from this carry-out parking lot. A lot of crime, a lot of shootings. We covered it all, especially last summer, but check it out. Right now, the store is locked up, and it all changed when neighbors crushed alcohol sales. Neighborhood carry-outs for years, a crime hotspot for shootings and drugs in Old Town East.
They tolerated a lot of drug dealing and other unsavory activities.
We had so much loitering around the carryouts that sold alcohol. I don't know why, but the carryouts seemed to be a magnet for negative behavior.
It was the liquor option.
So Block Watch neighbors fought back. They petitioned the community and got an issue on the ballot to stop liquor sales around the neighborhood, a move voters passed overwhelmingly. And shortly after alcohol sales were banned in January, a lot of crime dried up when several carryouts shut their doors.
Tremendous difference. We do not have the loitering. It disappeared immediately.
The liquor ban didn't happen overnight. Neighbors started pushing for it during the late 90s. It failed once, twice, not 3 times. It was the 4th try when voters tossed out the alcohol for good.
On your side tonight, investigating a crime that's taking a big bite out of your tax dollars. People selling their food stamps through social media sites like Facebook and Craigslist. Over the past few weeks, investigator Tom Susi went undercover looking for these sellers, and what our hidden cameras caught is disturbing.
What's going on?
What's going on is illegal. This young lady agreed to sell us her food stamps.
There's a Kroger like right down the street.
A viewer tipped us off to this ad on Craigslist. $70 in government food stamps, your tax dollars, for just $20. I called this number and said I wanted to buy them.
Park on this end row.
The seller agreed to meet us at this fast food parking lot on the city's north side. She brought along her baby and a guy she called her boyfriend.
What's going on?
The guy doing the talking works with our investigative unit. They have no idea who he is or that he's wearing hidden cameras.
Is this legal? Is this...
Yeah, it's perfectly legal.
You sure? Okay.
Negative. More on that later in our investigation. The woman says she has $70 left on her food stamp card, the one her boyfriend is holding in his hand. Here's a better look at another card just like it. The deal? We give her 20 bucks cash. In turn, we can use her card to buy $70 worth of food.
There's a Kroger like right down the street.
Right.
When you're finished, you can meet me here.
To use the card, she tells us all we need is her PIN number. She has no trouble giving it to us.
Okay, it's 90.
Okay.
We ask if we can do more business down the road.
We can do that again, like when I get more on there.
Buying food stamps is also illegal. We move in before the deal is done. Tom Susie, ABC6 on your side. How are you?
Good, how you doing?
What's going on here?
Good.
What's going on here?
Nothing.
Why are you selling your food stamps?
We need to buy her diapers. She has no diapers.
She needs diapers?
Yeah.
Doesn't she need food?
She has food.
You know this is illegal?
No.
You don't know it's illegal?
No.
Wait, how
You can't sell food stamps. It's illegal.
Man, is this some kind of joke, man?
That's no joke. You're on ABC6. This is illegal.
Here, bro. Hey, get that camera out of here.
The couple quickly walks off.
Troubling. Troubling.
Ben Johnson is a spokesperson with Ohio State Job and Family Services. He says our video is not only troubling, but buying and selling food stamps is serious business with serious consequences.
And in fact, it's punishable by a fine of up to $250,000, up to 20 years in prison, and a lifetime ban from the food assistance program.
The food assistance program is federally funded with your tax dollars. Those dollars cannot be used for cigarettes, alcohol, or paper products. That includes diapers. But Job and Family Services says there's plenty of programs out there to help families who need things like diapers.
Whether the individual was well-intentioned or not, that type of food assistance trafficking is illegal.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture oversees the food assistance program. It tells me food stamp fraud costs taxpayers about $750 million. That's every year. A lot of this wheeling and dealing happens through social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, and Craigslist. During our investigation, we spotted another ad on Craigslist. This person wants to unload 50 bucks worth of food stamps for $25. I responded. Within minutes, the seller emailed me her name and phone number. Is Christina in? Yeah, I'm calling about the food stamps. This is Tom.
Oh, okay.
We talked business.
I'm only selling 50.
Oh, you got $50?
Uh-huh.
How much you want for them?
25.
You ever done this before?
Yes.
Is it illegal?
I don't know.
I then told her who I was. Tom Susie with ABC News. Can I ask you a few questions?
No.
I pressed on.
It's not mine.
It doesn't matter. You're selling them. It's a crime. And that's that. It's just the beginning, though, for this woman. Job and Family Services say this dirty deal will be investigated.
Can we do this again, you know, if
I mean, we can do that again.
Not if the state of Ohio has anything to say about it.
Absolutely.
You come from this from an interesting perspective. I had to ask you some questions
Sure.
regarding food stamps, what could be bought, what could be sold, and whether people were really that aware of how illegal it is. And you happen to know from firsthand experience just how illegal it is, and they know too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I was a kid growing up in Flint, Michigan, my mother raised 4 of us, and we were on food stamps.
Right.
And so I'm very well aware of how the program works and how important it is to people who depend on that for food and feeding their families and feeding their children.
It's not a source of outside income.
Right.
Not at all.
And I'm glad that you're sharing your story, because this has been just a hot topic on our Facebook, on our website, since this story has been promoted. And people need to know you're not going after particular people or trying to make
a
demographic or anything like that. And people are saying, you know, bad things about Tom. You've been there. You know what this program, the food stamp program, is for and how it can help families. And if people are abusing that, it puts it at risk.
No, absolutely. All walks of life use it. All walks of life abuse it.
Yeah, right, as we've seen. Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Sure.
Tonight, ABC 6 is on your side, turning up the heat on crooked contractors.
Central Ohio furnace repairman caught red-handed trying to cheat a senior out of her money.
ABC 6 investigator Tom Susi exposing their dirty deeds in our hidden camera investigation.
All right, well, the igniter's bad. It needs to be replaced.
The igniter is bad?
It's a pressure switch.
These two furnace techs are trying to pressure this homeowner out of her money.
How much is that?
$125. Just be the $50 and then probably just the $50 for the part.
Go on back out.
Is he coming?
What they don't know is this widowed senior is working with us.
I just put the big dog in the garage.
It's okay.
We're watching them on hidden cameras.
You want me to turn this thing back on?
And the furnace they say is broken. There it goes. It was inspected by an HVAC expert with more than 30 years experience. These days, Richard Wirtz teaches his trade at a local college. In his opinion, our furnace runs just fine.
We checked the operation of the system and everything seems to be looking pretty good.
We made appointments with 6 furnace techs in Central Ohio, from major players in town to one-man bands we found on Craigslist.
What do you have going on here?
I have no heat. I have fan, but no heat.
No heat? Okay.
That's because we disconnected this wire to the ignition module.
You won't get any spark and you won't get any burners, so you'll be in a no heat situation.
Wirtz tells me any furnace tech worth their salt should be able to figure it out. Comfort Pros, Heartland Heating and Cooling, and Northland Pro Tech all figured it out.
Disconnected wire.
All 3 companies finished their inspections and only charged us for service calls.
I'm not going to charge you to go click.
I'm pretty sure she's got a bad pressure switch. Just kind of wanted a second opinion from you.
Matt runs Airman Heating and Air. For more than 40 minutes, he looked over our furnace. In the end, he scratched his head.
I'm worried that the circuit board might be bad. But I would like to start with the pressure switch first because it's much cheaper. If that's not what fixes it, then if I cannot fix it, I won't charge you for the part or anything, okay?
Pressure switch, the igniter's bad.
Unlike these 2 guys, Matt wasn't trying to cheat our homeowner. He simply didn't see the disconnected wire. Let me show you something. You mind?
Yeah,
Take this panel off. Can you fasten that wire there?
Oh, you guys are killing me.
What happened?
You guys are killing me.
Matt tells me he usually checks the ignition module, but not on this day. How long have you been doing this?
4 or 5 years.
How could you miss something so simple?
Just happens.
The misdiagnosis cost our homeowner $90 for a service call. Now, back to these crooked Craigslist contractors. Matt locates the disconnected wire, connects it, and the furnace fires up. It's fine, but that's not what he tells this homeowner.
The igniter's bad. It needs to be replaced.
The igniter is bad?
Electronic igniter, yeah.
How much is that?
$125.
We showed Richard Wirtz our hidden camera video.
If the igniter was bad, the burners wouldn't come on and it would lock out.
How you doing? Good. Tom Susi, ABC 6 on your side? Why are you trying to sell this something she doesn't need?
I'm not.
You went back in there and said she needs an igniter, and it's $125.
Exactly. Yeah, I did.
Why'd you tell her that?
I didn't notice this yet.
No, you did notice it. Matt claims he told the homeowner she needed an igniter before he noticed this wire was disconnected. Our hidden cameras prove otherwise. You recognize him? Who is it?
That's me.
That's you. This tech quickly changed his tune. What's wrong with her furnace?
There's absolutely nothing wrong.
There must have been something wrong with our money, though, because he split without collecting his $50 service call.
I don't need $50, man.
Ray pounds away at our furnace until finally he sees it. He connects the wire. The furnace ignites. Now listen to what he tells the homeowner.
This is a pressure switch.
Okay.
Just be the $50 and then probably just the $50 for the part.
Our expert says if the pressure switch was bad, the burners wouldn't light up. Tom Susi, ABC 6.
How's it going?
How you doing?
Good.
So what's wrong with the furnace?
Pressure switch is going bad.
How do you know that?
Because I do.
I tell him this furnace recently passed a rigorous inspection. I also tell him our hidden cameras tracked his every move.
Why try to sell her something she doesn't need?
It was just stupid on my part. Normally we don't do that.
Have you ever tried selling customers something they don't need?
No.
This is your first time?
Mm-hmm. I'm just a little low on cash.
So you decided to take it from her?
Not a lot of work right now.
There's going to be less when people see this.
Yeah.
We paid Ray his $50 service call and he hit the road.
I think it proves that we still got some good technicians out there and they're straight above board, and that's the way they should be. So the ones that are on the other side of the coin, you need to look at every job like there's cameras everywhere around.
Now, Bob and Yolanda, understand that these sort of shenanigans happen more than you know. That's why it's important to stay on your toes when hiring anyone to do anything.
Best way to do it is, furnace techs. Best way to do it.
Family, friends, Better Business Bureau, do your homework. Otherwise, you might end up with a couple of goof-offs like we showed you tonight.
Right. Wow, I'm surprised that they actually gave you that interview and admitted, like the last guy talking about I'm low on cash and
caught red-handed right there.
Yeah.
Right, nowhere to go.
In a small room with Tom Soucy, you're gonna.
That could be a scary thing.
I think I would just hightailed it out of there.
You're gonna tell him everything he needs to know and move on. Yeah.
All right, good for you exposing these things.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
All right, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The bridge of Madison County.
Oh, I think it's ridiculous.
There's no love affair here if you talk to some of the neighbors in West Jefferson. Terry Riggle and her daughter Rachel live in one of the roughly 250 homes cut off from town.
I've walked home from school across the creek.
Rachel says a lot of kids do it. Her friend,
He made logs there, and so it's kind of sketchy to cross.
especially in the dark or in the winter.
It's kind of a ticking time bomb with somebody being injured.
Pat Ferguson is another neighbor that's had enough. He says their only option is an 11-mile stretch of frustration.
The detours they take you on are old rural country roads that really weren't designed for the traffic that they're getting now. And when you put a school bus on there,
it's not safe, he says, and certainly not convenient. Going to school, work, or just to the store is now more than a 20-mile round trip of this. Country roads and detour signs, and all because of this. Construction started in June. It was supposed to be done in October, then November, and now it's December. Delay, delay, delay.
the weather has been perfect. There's zero reason to not have it done other than they did not meet the deadline.
Be accountable. You say you're going to do it. Get the job done.
Who do we hold accountable?
Well, I would say the contractor. He's the one who said he could do it.
Okay, we talked to the contractor.
When will it be done?
We don't know. We're hoping a week or two we'll have it open.
Tom Stapleton with RB Jurgens is the project manager for the Madison County Bridge.
Why the delay?
There was a because of environmental issues.
And that's true. Mussels breeding in Darby Creek prohibited construction during part of the year. Another delay, Stapleton says, adjustments ordered by the county engineer.
They did add just some time.
The design changes added days and days. The changes in part because of this bridge in neighboring Union County. Finished, but closed since August. A problem with upper trusses and sagging. So,
conservative approach, unfortunately, to close the bridge.
Union County Commissioner Gary Lee says they love their covered bridge.
The fact is that a wooden covered bridge has a longer useful life than an I-beam bridge does today. We need the architect who designed this bridge to tell us what the solution is.
Are we going to have the exact same thing down here in 2 to 3, 4 years from now?
That's the worry in Madison County. The covered bridge cost is about twice that of a standard bridge. The price tag here, $2.2 million. The builder is supposed to be penalized by the state every day it's not done. RB Jurgens was given one extension, and now
They've asked us to submit our additional request for delay.
Will you penalize the contractor on a daily basis, or will he get another extension on that?
There are contractual issues that we are looking at right now.
ODOT District Director Farzan Ahmad says the most important thing right now is to get it done. They're working hard, 60 hours a week.
I think that in the next 7 or 8 days, less than 2 weeks, we should have that bridge open.
Our covered bridge is worth it.
That's a very good question.
Many say yes, they are. When it's done,
it's just awesome.
They boost property values and tourism. They even have a covered bridge festival in Union County. Others, understandably, don't feel the same way.
I haven't heard one person that was for this covered bridge. I don't know who they are.
ABC 6 News on your side. But first, this breaking news alert.
Crews clearing the scene of a crash on Fishinger Road in Hilliard right now. The road was shut down when an SUV rolled over. ABC 6's Ben Garbrick is there right now. And Ben, what's the latest on this?
Well, Yolanda, cleanup crews are finishing up their work here. A messy scene here, and all 4 cars and 2 people hurt. This SUV that's being loaded onto this tow truck here behind me is the one that caused this whole crash. That's the one that flipped over in this accident. Police are telling me that car was traveling westbound on Fishinger when it crossed the yellow center line, went into oncoming traffic and hit another car, hit a second car going the other way, and then that's when that SUV flipped over onto its head. That driver is hurt as well as another driver. All the injuries here, though, are minor, so that is the good news here. As to why that driver crossed over to oncoming traffic, the police officer on scene I was talking with said that they have an idea why that person crossed over, but at this point they won't tell us why because this is all still under investigation. Westbound Fishinger is still shut down, as well as there's only one lane going eastbound, and if you're trying to make your way through on Dublin, it's also slow going. So if you're trying to make your way through this area, you should expect some long delays. We're live in Hilliard. I'm Ben Garbrick, ABC 6 News.
Thank you, Ben. A controversial bill is off the table at the Ohio State House. The so-called heartbeat bill would have banned abortions as soon as doctors detected a fetal heartbeat. ABC 6 reporter Dana Jay has been following the story and is live with the latest update from the State House. Dana?
And Bob, that news came this afternoon after months and months of hearings, rallies, protests, even teddy bears. The day before Ohio Senate Republicans are set to elect a new leader, outgoing President Tom Niehaus makes a decision on a bill that's been on the table for almost 2 years.
I informed my caucus earlier today that it was not my intention to take up the heartbeat bill in the lame duck session.
Niehaus says that he still doesn't believe the heartbeat bill would stand up in the U.S. Supreme Court, and the Senate's efforts are better focused elsewhere.
We have been the most pro-life legislature in my memory, having passed 7 previous bills, and I want to continue our focus on jobs and the economy.
The heartbeat bill prompted a number of rallies of support and opposition. The measure would have been the strictest abortion ban in the country. Pro-life Ohio Right to Life opposed it for constitutional reasons, but supporters think the bill could overturn Roe v. Wade. They sent children bearing stuffed animals with audible fetal heartbeats to pressure Republican senators who control the chamber to pass the bill. It's unclear what the future holds under new Republican leadership, but for now, Democrats who have been fighting the measure are thrilled. We broke the news to Senator Nina Turner.
Hallelujah. This is a great day in the state of Ohio for women. It may come up again, and I tell you, Dana, when that happens, we will be prepared.
I expect the supporters of this bill to be prepared as well. I did reach out for a spokeswoman for the organization that supports it, Faith to Action, for her reaction on this latest development. Have not yet heard back from her. Also of note today, the Senate president said that he is not interested in having his body take up the bill that would defund Planned Parenthood either. That bill currently in the House, but no chance of that coming up in the Senate at all in this lame duck session either. Reporting live at the State House this evening, I'm Dana Jay, ABC 6 News.
Thank you, Dana. We're following developing news from northern Ohio tonight. This is video we shot from above the scene of a deadly house fire today. 5 people were killed, and we may never know exactly what caused this fire. It happened in a rural area of Seneca County near Tiffin. ABC 6 reporter Steve Levine is there and learned the victims include 3 children under the age of 12.
Well, let me show you all that's left of this farmhouse after fire ripped through it, taking 5 lives. One neighbor who did not want to go on camera tells me he will always remember and hear the voices of those 3 young children playing on that swing set. Firefighters were called to this farmhouse around 3 this morning after a truck driver saw flames a mile away. 12 hours later, the bodies of Joe and Holly Hamilton and their 12-year-old daughter and 2 sons, ages 8 and 6, were recovered. Neighbors tell us the family has faced some tough times recently. Just a few years ago, the family was in a car wreck and described the family as being loving and warm. Now the entire community is grieving the family's most recent tragedy.
This is a very close community, and these children were known in the school system, and these firefighters, many of them knew this family. It's a very difficult day.
Neighbors say the family returned just last night after visiting relatives in Wisconsin for Thanksgiving. The state fire marshal is now investigating to determine the exact cause of this blaze. The bodies of those 5 family members now at the coroner's office, where it's now being determined their exact cause of death. In Seneca County, Steve Levine, ABC 6 News.
A suspected drunk driver hits a school bus with dozens of kids on board. That car is wedged under the bus. About 35 students from Ridgewood Elementary School were on the bus at the time. None are hurt. The driver is at OSU Main Hospital with minor injuries. A medic did report smelling alcohol on the driver. Police say he admitted drinking several beers before the accident. Another school bus crash, this one involving a middle school bus from Gahanna. That bus was stopped on Morse Road with a SUV stopped behind it. That's when police say a second SUV rear-ended the first one, shoving it into the bus. 2 kids were on at the time. No one hurt. The SUV driver who caused the crash did suffer a minor injury. Police are looking into citing the driver.
New details now after a violent crash into a home. We've just learned that the deputy chasing the car called off the chase because the suspects were throwing things out the window. One of those things was a mason jar full of white powdery substance that will be tested. This all happening this morning in Ross County in a rural area near Bainbridge. Witnesses say a couple of guys stole from deer hunters and were being chased by a Ross County deputy and the hunters. The men lost control of the car, traveling about 90 miles an hour. Now, family members in the home say normally their 4-year-old grandson would have been sitting in the spot where the car hit watching cartoons, but his mom had the day off and the grandparents weren't babysitting.
Well, they've been stealing off some local hunters, some people hunting down here, and the hunters seen him, caught him, and they went after him. Then they called the sheriff.
I mean, running from the law. I mean, he could have either hurt my son or hurt my parents. But, yeah, it really makes me mad. I wanted to go out and beat him up.
Sherry Sims showed us a photo of the car in the house there. Police say that Donnie Henson and Ryan Fury are the names of the men who were driving it, were in there. No word on charges yet. They were both flown by medical helicopter to Columbus hospitals.
A 33-year-old man is behind bars tonight, accused of having a sexual relationship with a teenage girl. ABC 6's Tom Bosco is in the newsroom to show us how this guy was caught. Tom?
Yolanda, after the mother of the 15-year-old caught her daughter sneaking in and out of the house, she got curious and decided to take a look at her daughter's phone. And that's when she found pictures, nude pictures of her daughter, nude pictures of a 33-year-old man, and she discovered the two were having a sexual relationship. So she called the Union County Sheriff's Office. Deputies investigated, and the phone led them to this man, 33-year-old Harry Wood of Marysville. He's a truck driver, but he's not going anywhere anytime soon. He's behind bars now on $50,000 bond. He's charged with a number of crimes, including unlawful sexual conduct with a minor. The Sheriff's Office says sexting is a big problem that they're seeing.
Sexting cases have increased over the years as the cell phones and the technology have gotten better, and almost everybody carries a cell phone now, almost all the kids. And it is a problem, and it's not our first case, and unfortunately it won't be our last.
What's still not clear is how Wood met the 15-year-old. Wood's car was seized as well. Deputies say that's where the two had sex. BCI agents processed that car today. And there's nothing new here, but it does bear repeating in light of this story. Deputies say the best way to keep your kids safe, of course, is to monitor their phone usage. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Tom Bosco, ABC 6 News.
Thanks, Tom. 2 busloads of drunk college students descend on a mini-mart and trash the place big time. It happened just outside of Choctaw Lake in Madison County. ABC 6 reporter Carol Looper was there today. Carol?
Bob, 80 students from the University of Dayton were returning to school from a fraternity party at a bar in Columbus. It happened back on November 17th, but just today, the prosecutor met with school officials to discuss possible criminal charges. Now, everyone who saw the kids said they came to the Mini Mart drunk to use the restrooms, but they did some pretty wild things. The Madison County prosecutor tells me after the kids were subdued, sheriff's deputies got their names and home addresses and took pictures of all of them. Now, if they can ID the ones they saw doing the actions, they can charge them. The prosecutor tells me the women working there panicked.
They were scared out of their minds. I mean, this was pretty egregious to them because there was 80 kids descended on them. There were kids peeing in the store, peeing in front of the store, peeing behind the store, in the hallways, on the walls, in the trash cans.
He says they smashed wine and beer bottles, and some of the kids got into a fight in the cooler. Now, the University of Dayton will take action against any kids who the deputies can identify. They've already suspended Sigma Chi fraternity. And the prosecutor would like to know what bar in Columbus served the underage students. I'm Carol Looper, ABC 6 News.
Thank you, Carol.
ABC 6 News on your side. But first, this first warning winter weather alert.
We are in the midst of a winter weather blast. We're talking snow, rain, and of course freezing temperatures out there.
Yeah, no question about it. ABC 6 on your side tonight. We have team coverage for you right now. Dana J joins us live from Grove City. Mike Kallmeyer out in Lancaster. Jen French is out on the roads in our mobile track vehicle, but the man with all the answers, of course, Chief Meteorologist Bill Kelly. Let's get straight to him with an update on tonight's forecast.
Tell you what, guys, what a day it has been. We started out with the snow, then it switched over to freezing rain, some sleet, off and on snow. Some of you had snow all day long. Totals have ranged across the area, heaviest being the north and over to the west. But I tell you, what's going on now, we have this final wave that's pushing through, and you see the blue, that's an indicator of snow, and it's for the most part snow for everybody. There's a few spots down into the southeast part of our viewing area, like Athens, for example. You guys have had rain all day long, really nothing to speak of.
That wind is definitely causing a bite right now and covering up the roadways yet again with some of this blowing snow. It's a little drizzly, a little sleety, a little slushy. The good news is this nasty, icky stuff is actually a lot easier for the snowplow crews to clear away than the thick, heavy, pretty white stuff. Still, that snow emergency in effect, and that means no parking along snow emergency routes here in Grove City.
Severe weather is absolutely right. It's a very dangerous situation setting up for us here on this Friday evening. A line of severe storms moving through the Columbus area, already starting to see them on the outlying spots. And the wind gusts, we've had reports of 80-mile-per-hour winds. You can see this line just over the last hour moving through. So let's get specific for you. Let's talk about where this storm is, where it's heading.
Our Dana J is on the road as well. She's in the mobile track heading west on I-70 right now. Dana, do we have you?
Yeah, you do, ladies, and I can tell you also we are seeing some cars pulled over, and so I hope that Terry, your daughter's doing okay. I'm going to go ahead and give you a look out the front of our windshield. We are on 70 west, about, I'd say 5 to 7 miles west of Hilliard. We're actually coming up on mile marker 87. And as you can see, very, very bad visibility at this point. Cars pulling over on the side of the road. We haven't experienced any hail or anything like that at this point. However, we are seeing a lot of wind whipping around. I don't know if you can tell in the trees and things like that on the side of the road. I'm trying to give you some views out of the sides of our cameras.
Where we just had to brace ourselves. Now, the truck still is shaking with the high winds. We've had torrential rains, and we're seeing some ponding on the roads up here. Now, we're at police headquarters in Worthington. They were expecting a really busy night tonight with this extreme weather and the heat, but now add severe weather that we're experiencing now, and I'm imagining that they're going to get a lot of calls.
ABC 6 News on your side. But first, this breaking news alert.
I'm Terry Sullivan, live in Zanesville along Kopechek Road. Behind me, the Thompson farm, where Marion Thompson is believed to be bringing her 5 animals that have been at the zoo that were released this morning. 2 monkeys, 2 leopards, and a bear. We do have some video, let's show you right now, shot by our crew earlier, of those animals being loaded into crates, into cages, and from there put onto a semi for the long trek here to Zanesville. At least we believe they're coming to Zanesville. There have been some reports that she may be taking them elsewhere, but we'll find out from Dana who is following that caravan in just a moment. Back out here along Kopechek Road, the neighbors up and down the road have placed no trespassing signs all around the farm, so there's really no way that you can get close. It's a two-lane road. You can't really pull off the side of the road, so it's been kind of crazy in that. The neighbors also tell me, I stopped a carload, they were very annoyed that the animals were returning here. In fact, one man actually said if he had his way, he would have poisoned the animals. The sheriff, we talked to him about an hour and a half ago. He says he is disappointed and frustrated that she didn't take advantage of the offer to have a neutral party come in and inspect the cages here at the Thompson farm. These cages are the ones that were in the house. The animals were found in them. Nobody's been able to check how secure they are, although the sheriff says that since they were found in the cages, he doesn't think that the locks or anything was affected by that. But another point, nobody has, the animals while they were at the zoo, we're told they've gained weight. So who knows if they'll be able to fit into the cages back here at the Thompson farm. Let's go to Mike McCarthy, who is live at the Columbus Zoo. He has more on the loading of the animals for that caravan this morning. Mike?
Yeah, well, Terry, for Marion Thompson, the wait is over. She has been fighting with the state of Ohio for about 6 months now to get those animals back in her care. And until just about an hour ago, those 5 animals were housed right back here at the Columbus Zoo Animal Health Center. That's where they were, and that's where Marion Thompson came this morning to get those animals. You saw it all unfold live here, right here on ABC6. Let me take you back and show you some video, though, in case you missed it. Marion Thompson, her veterinarian, and her crew were arriving right around 10:30 this morning, about a half hour earlier than expected. Then when they arrived here, those 5 animals were brought out in crates. First, the biggest animals, the 2 leopards and a bear were brought out. Those animals were actually sedated, loaded up in those crates, and then they were, that sedation was reversed once they were loaded up. They were awake and alert, we're told, once they left the zoo property here. The 2 monkeys were actually brought out in a smaller crates and were actually loaded up in the truck, in the bed of the truck with Marion Thompson and her veterinarian as they left here. It took about 45 minutes for that whole transition, that whole transportation process to be completed here at the zoo. Back out here live right now, I'm actually joined by Dale Schmidt, the president and CEO of the Columbus Zoo. Dale, how did this go today, in your opinion?
I thought it went very smoothly. Most of our transfers are handled in this way. They don't normally be put on horse trailers, of course, but it went as we expected, and they left the property without any incident. So
very smooth today. Everything went well. Did she say anything at all to you guys? Did she mention where she was going? Did she mention how the animals would be cared for? What did she say?
We didn't really have a whole lot of interaction with her. Our veterinarian did talk to her to tell her the diet that we had the animals on. We assume they're going back out to the Zanesville farm that they were before, and that's according to her lawyer, Bob McClellan.
And you mentioned the feeding regimen. I mean, when you talk about caring for these animals, 2 leopards, a bear, and 2 primates, these are not, your animals from the pet store. These require a lot of work and a lot of maintenance. Can you talk about just the demands of caring for these animals and the type of care they've gotten here at the zoo?
Well, the care they got at the zoo is, we have a whole keeper staff that have spent, decades in their training. We have a nutrition team that analyzes each animal and each species and its diet to make sure it gets all the right food. And then we have the veterinary team, which is, 3 veterinarians and technicians and hospital managers that really oversee their care. That's quite a bit for 6 animals, but that's what it takes to properly care for these exotic animals.
I'm running tight on time, but I do want to ask you, do you have any concerns now that these animals are no longer here and they've gone away with Marion? What are you thinking right now?
We have huge concerns. We hope the animals can have the right care for their species and the right enclosures, and at the same time, we worry about the public. She didn't have perimeter fences. The fences were all cut. We haven't heard that any of those repairs have taken place or any additions, and that would be concerning if I lived out in that area and those animals were next door to me.
Dale Schmidt, thank you for your time today. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
We do want to point out that Thompson's attorney has told the state of Ohio that she does have caging for these animals. Exactly, again, where she's going, it's not known. Believed to be headed over to Zanesville. We're going to continue to monitor this still very much developing story for this afternoon, but for now, Terry, I'm live at the zoo. We're going to send it back to you.
All right, Meg, thank you so much. Again, a bird's eye view of the Thompson farm where Marion Thompson is believed to be bringing her animals, 5 animals, 2 monkeys, 2 leopards, and a bear. Everybody's stopping to ask, have you Where are they going? Are they going to Zanesville? We've also heard reports that she could be bringing them to another county, but right now, at least as of 10 minutes ago when I called Dana J, she said that it appeared they were still heading to Zanesville. Let's check in with Dana J right now, who's on the road in our mobile track, to see where this convoy is right now. Dana?
Yeah, well, Terry, we've been on the road for about 45 minutes now. We are right now on I-70 heading east. We're at the Granville-Lancaster exit 126. I'm going to give you a view out of the front of our trailer. You can see right there in the right corner of your screen the red truck being driven by Marion Thompson. Smooth sailing so far on this approximately 75-mile journey. And as we've said before, a friend of Marion Thompson reporting they're going back to Zanesville with these animals. And at this point, no indication otherwise. I'm going to give you a view from the side of that trailer, this steel horse trailer that you're seeing that's carrying the animals. We're told they are awake for this trip. In fact, I heard one of those leopards growling as it was loaded into the trailer. The primates, as Mike said, I've seen the crate that they're in. They're in the back of Marion Thompson's cab. In fact, I got a peek in the window and I could see the veterinarian kind of turned around, peeking into that crate. I'm going to give you our view from the back so that you can see who else is in that caravan. And this white van, this white conversion van right behind you on the left of your screen, that is the animals caretaker and another helper. I've seen him at various different places, but they're in the caravan. Also in this caravan, two USDA vehicles that this was USDA, U.S. Department of Agriculture personnel that was at the zoo. A spokeswoman for the zoo tell us they simply requested to be there as the animals were transferred, and they requested to be part of the caravan as it was headed back to Zanesville. So at this point, no indication that that these animals and Marion Thompson are going anywhere other than Zanesville, but we're going to keep an eye on them for the remainder of the journey, and we'll be checking back in with you, I'm sure, later on in the newscast. But for now, live from Mobile Track 6, I'm Dana J, ABC 6 News.
All right, thanks, Dana. We did check in with Muskingum County Sheriff Matt Lutz, who said he had no plans to come out here. He was not asked to do any kind of escort, and he was not going to be in the area. And he kind of joked with our producer, Liz Lane, that the only way that he might see us is if he stopped to give us a parking ticket alongside the road. So we made sure not to park alongside the road there. But again, we have a bird's eye view of the Thompson farm, and it sounds like if they keep on track, those animals could arrive here within the hour, within the noon show. So stay right there, because we, of course, have a and you'll be able to see those animals arriving. And of course, stay with us on air and online, abc6onyourside.com. We will have continuing coverage of the exotic animals returning to their Zanesville home. Well, right now, let's send it back to the studio. Carolyn Bruck sitting in today with the rest of the day's news. Carolyn?
All right, thanks, Terry. Breaking news out of Jefferson Township. We want to show you video just into the ABC 6 newsroom. A SWAT situation happening on Morse Road. A source tells ABC 6 that Franklin County deputies were trying to serve a warrant.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
America's founding fathers made it part of the Bill of Rights. With more than 300 million firearms in the country, support for owning and operating a gun is one of the backbones of this nation. The vast majority of those gun owners are responsible with their weapons. The exceptions grab the headlines. The assault nearly 2 years ago in Arizona, the murders this summer in a movie theater, a shooting in a shopping mall earlier this month, and then the unthinkable. 20 children and 6 adults gunned down by a mentally ill man in their school.
She is an incredible person, and I'm so blessed to be her dad.
The images burned into the American people's minds.
He keeps saying, I really hope she's okay. I hope it's not her.
And opened a firestorm of discussion.
Handguns for personal protection, fine, but I mean, automatic weapons, I don't think, the average household needs anything like that.
If I ban assault weapons today, that isn't going to stop a criminal from getting an assault weapon today or next week or next year or the year after.
I'm going to introduce in the Senate, and the same bill will be introduced in the House, a bill
to ban assault weapons.
I think we absolutely should talk about the intersection of a lethal weapon and it relates to mental health.
We can't tolerate this anymore. These tragedies must end. And to end them, we must change.
Tonight, we begin the discussion. Your gun rights versus more gun control. Where is the line that keeps everyone safe? Good evening, and thank you for joining us for a National Town Hall discussion, which spurred after those Connecticut shootings. I'm Yolanda Harris of ABC6, and we want to thank you for coming tonight.
We want to get right into the discussion. We want to hear from our viewers and our audience here. And I'm going to start off by challenging our studio audience. I'm going to ask them a specific question. I'm also going to put it to our panel of experts. Is there anything that could have absolutely prevented this event that happened last week or similar events? Those who believe yes, applaud. Those who believe no, applaud. Okay, now I want to put the same question to our panel of experts. If you just raise your hand, could something have prevented this particular event? Raise your hand if you believe yes. And those who believe no? So we have a mix. More of the people on the yes side believe that something could have been done. I'm going to go right to our first audience member question. Sir, would you please stand up and join us? Joining us this evening is James Jones. Sir, please ask your question.
Oh, yes, and this question is not only for the victims in Connecticut, but also for 17-year-old Jordan Davis and 17-year-old Trayvon Martin, as well as the victims of the Chicago shootings this past summer. How the hell are you going to get guns off the street when you can't get drugs off the street?
That's a tough question. I'm going to go right to the former prosecutor. Ken, you've probably perhaps been on both sides of this debate, both as a prosecutor and defender. It is a legal issue. It's a criminal issue. If guns are part of the issue, how do we get, should we be getting guns off the street? How do we get them off the street?
Well, I mean, the guns are not the ones committing the crime. The guns on the street are tools.
Maybe we can't take care of every single incident, but maybe, just maybe, it's time for the politics to stop and the rhetoric to stop.
We're discussing guns a moment because certainly that was the tool or the weapon, if you will, the tool that was used in this most recent event. And there have been tragic shootings all around the country, individuals, mass shootings, and there have been other kinds of violent events. But it isn't just an individual or a weapon, because we are now learning in the case of this young man, apparently he had significant mental health issues. You deal in mental health. Are we in a position that we're getting the right kind of attention focused on mental health issues in the public at large?
There are many, many families that deal with mental health issues. Every one of us is touched by mental illness in our families. Whether we address it or believe it or say it or not, it is the truth.
Is it a broader education of the public at large?
Oh yes, I think it is a broader education that we must do. We must educate our families. Our families who have someone with a mental illness must begin to educate their other family members. I think it is a community issue where we have to get involved and educate folks.
My question is, do gun-free zones increase or decrease the likelihood of a location that could become the target of a shooting, or does it make no difference? So something designated as a gun-free zone, such as a school or a shopping mall, does that increase the likelihood that it's a target? Decrease the likelihood there would be a target?
Yes.
Or does it?
Yes.
Or does it make no difference?
Tell me a shooter in a mass shooting situation that has been done with his killing and turned around and walked away. It doesn't happen. When are we going to give our teachers the tools that they need to protect our most precious assets?
I don't know that teachers want this. They're there to teach. And folks, I don't think a teacher decided they wanted to teach children and carry a gun. We, as a society, have to use common sense. Common sense says we need to protect folks. But common sense says that killer had a variety of other issues that were involved in it. Had he not had access to his mother's gun, he wouldn't have had a gun because he went for a background check.
If the shooter is confronted with violence at the start of the event, it would have stopped. I mean, it's just a practical solution. And I'm not saying that just any teacher should go carry a gun. Put training in place, give them the same training a police officer even has, or better. It's a practical solution. They can volunteer for it. Yes, teachers don't sign up to be armed security guards when they want to be a teacher, but guess what? We live in a fallen world, and it's not perfect.
At the end of the day, the shooter was in the school already. Our phone has been ringing off the hook with boards of education and teachers saying, tell us how to put armed teachers into schools. So we have announced today that we are going to underwrite, Buckeye Firearms Foundation is underwriting a pilot program for 24 teachers to attend Tactical Defense Institute for a 3-day intensive training seminar. We're done talking. We're going to put armed teachers in the schools.